Jake Armstrong joined Station 9 in Capital City, renowned for its tight-knit, old-school crew led by Chief Hector Vance. Vance was revered. He'd steered the department through budget cuts and crises for 2 decades, earning the undying loyalty of the city and its firefighters. But Jake, an outsider with a degree in data analysis, noticed a fissure in the foundation. It wasn't about the trucks or the protocols, it was about the money. Specifically, the Firefighters Pension and Disability Fund. Jake noticed that the fund, routinely described as robust, had been losing money far faster than its declared payouts. He initially dismissed it as clerical error. However, a mandated quarterly report showed a massive, unjustified outflow of funds labeled simply as infrastructure reallocation. When Jake casually asked his mentor, Captain Marty Stone, about the budget, she just grimaced. "Don't poke the bear, kid. The chief takes care of the fund. He always has. You want trouble? Ask questions." But Jake couldn't ignore the numbers. The missing sum was enormous, enough to bankrupt the future of every rookie standing beside him. Chief Vance personified the department's integrity. He hosted annual charity drives for the fund, his face beaming on every city billboard. No one, absolutely no one, questioned him. Vance controlled the entire financial narrative, presenting summary reports only to the city council, who trusted his reputation implicitly. Jake, determined to find the source of the leak, spent his off hours deep diving into public records. The infrastructure reallocation funds were supposedly routed to an external, privately held contractor named Phoenix Solutions. Jake found zero public record of this company. No address, no directors, only a P.O. box and a shell corporation registered in another state. The contract signed between the fund and Phoenix Solutions bore only one signature, Chief Hector Vance's. The contract promised a return on investment of 200% on high-risk, unproven fire safety technology. It was a textbook shell game, designed to launder money out of the pension fund and into private pockets. Jake realized the secret wasn't a cover-up of a single crime, it was the theft of his entire fire family's future. He knew he was stepping onto thin ice with the weight of hundreds of lives. Jake tentatively shared his findings with Marty, showing her the data on Phoenix Solutions and the impossible returns promised. Marty, cynical but loyal to the job, was visibly shaken. Phoenix Solutions, that name rings a bell. Vance brought it up years ago, pitched it as his retirement plan, for the old guys. She looked Jake in the eye. "If you take this to the mayor, you're dead. Vance's wife is the mayor's campaign manager. This runs too deep. They won't investigate. They'll bury you and call you a disgruntled rookie." Her warning solidified Jake's approach. He couldn't rely on internal or local politics. He needed unassailable, physical proof and an external authority. He began planning a highly illegal infiltration. The chief kept the physical files, the original contract, receipts, and bank transfer statements, in a secure, private vault beneath the station's armory. Jake knew the code from his initial orientation. It was simply the year the station was founded, a symbol of Vance's supreme confidence that no one would ever suspect him. The opportunity arose during the department's annual gala dinner, the very event where Vance would deliver a tearful speech about the robust health of the pension fund. Jake, pleading a stomach bug, stayed behind. The station was deserted, silent save for the dripping tap in the kitchen. Donning his turnout gear to move inconspicuously through the dark hallways, Jake reached the old armory. The safe was a massive, antiquated steel box. Jake entered the code, 1948. It clicked open. Inside, stacked neatly, were the original documents. The contract with Phoenix Solutions detailed not 200%, but a 20% commission to Vance on all reallocated funds. The bank statements showed transfers directly from Phoenix Solutions to a personal offshore account held by Vance. Jake's hands trembled as he photographed every page, meticulously ensuring the metadata on his camera phone was traceable. He also found a handwritten ledger tracking the actual, catastrophic losses of the pension fund, proof that Vance knew exactly what he was doing. The sound of a car crunching gravel outside sent a jolt of panic through him. He sealed the vault just as Marty's face appeared in the doorway. Marty wasn't there to betray him, she was his lookout. She saw the turmoil on his face. "What did you find, kid?" Jake showed her a single photograph, Vance's signature endorsing a transfer of $15 million, labeled, personal commission. Marty paled. "He sold us out." Jake explained his plan. He would send the unedited, time-stamped files to the State Inspector General's office, an external authority that could bypass the mayor's office. "I have to send it now, Marty. Before he changes the books." Marty, now fully on board, insisted on one thing, a signed statement from herself, detailing the history of the fund's secrecy under Vance and corroborating Jake's fears. She knew her career was over, but she valued her oath more than her pension. Before they could transmit the final batch of files, the lights in the main office flickered on. Vance had returned early from the gala. He had forgotten his award and sensed a disturbance. Jake and Marty quickly hid in the shadows of the locker room, the metallic tang of fear thick in the air. Vance strode through the station, his steps echoing on the concrete floor. He went straight to the armory and noticed the safe lock was slightly askew, just enough to alert his paranoid mind. He quickly checked the documents, but Jake had meticulously replaced everything. Vance's eyes narrowed. He looked around the empty station. He knew someone was there. He walked toward the locker room. "Armstrong!" Vance called out, his voice sharp. "You still here, cleaning up your puke? Come out here." Jake stepped out, Marty right behind him. Vance's expression hardened upon seeing Marty. "Captain Stone, what are you doing here? A little late for a rendezvous, isn't it?" Vance knew Marty was the only one with enough seniority to be dangerous. Jake held his ground. "Chief, I was just checking the inventory logs. Marty was showing me the old pump system." Vance didn't believe him for a second. He knew his secret was likely out. He pointed to Jake. "You're off the roster, Armstrong. Effective immediately. Captain Stone, report to my office in the morning. You've earned yourself an early retirement." He was trying to contain the damage, dismissing the rookie and silencing the veteran. Vance's premature move was his undoing. Jake and Marty raced back to the armory. "He just fired me." "We've got nothing to lose," Jake said, furiously typing. Marty quickly uploaded her signed confession and a final statement from Jake detailing the chief's immediate reaction. They sent the entire package, over 40 pages of evidence, to the State Inspector General's secure server. Confirmation popped up, transfer complete. They were safe. But safety was fleeting. Vance reappeared, holding his ceremonial axe, his face contorted with rage. "You think I don't know what you were doing? That fund is my legacy. You're destroying everything." He lunged, forcing Jake and Marty to barricade themselves in the communications room. Vance began hacking at the door. Marty used the main department radio, Central Dispatch. Code red. "Station 9 compromised. We need state IG and federal marshals now. Chief Vance is hostile. Repeat, Chief Vance is hostile and armed." Her desperate cry went out over all emergency frequencies. The emergency broadcast created an instant chaos. Within minutes, the station was surrounded not by local police, Vance's friends, but by state marshals and investigators from the Inspector General's office, who had received the evidence just moments before. Vance, hearing the sirens, dropped the axe, his bravado instantly draining away. He was trapped. When the marshals breached the door, they found Vance standing alone, defeated. He was placed under arrest for misappropriation of public funds, fraud, and attempted obstruction of justice. His dramatic, high-profile arrest, happening in the middle of the night at the station he commanded, dominated the headlines by dawn. The mayor's office immediately went into damage control. The pension fund scandal was massive, affecting hundreds of retired firefighters and their families. The city council needed a scapegoat and, more importantly, a hero to restore public faith in the department, and fast. The mayor, facing public outcry and a looming federal investigation into his own campaign funding, managed by Vance's wife, had to make a swift, definitive move. He publicly denounced Vance, promising a total and transparent restructuring. The city council held an emergency session. They needed a figurehead whose integrity was unblemished and who was completely unaffiliated with the corrupt old guard. They reviewed the IG report. The hero wasn't Marty, the cynical veteran, it was the rookie, Jake Armstrong, whose meticulous data analysis and courageous night raid had exposed the corruption. Jake's action was pure, driven by principle, not politics. The mayor saw an opportunity for a public relations victory that could save his own career. He called Jake to City Hall before sunrise. The meeting was brief. "Mr. Armstrong," the mayor said, his voice laced with false sincerity, "the city owes you a debt it can never repay. We need a clean slate. We need you." Before the morning news broadcast, the mayor held an emergency press conference. "Today, we turn a new page," he announced, flanked by federal investigators. "To rebuild the trust that Chief Vance shattered, we must choose a leader whose courage is measured by his actions, not his years of service." He then introduced Jake Armstrong. Effective immediately, by special mandate of the City Council, Jake Armstrong is appointed interim fire chief of Capital City Fire Department. The media exploded in flashbulbs. Jake, still wearing a simple dress uniform, stood rigidly. The sheer magnitude of the promotion, from rookie to chief in one night, was dizzying. He became the youngest chief in the city's history. Marty, watching the news conference from a diner booth, raised her coffee cup in a silent toast. Jake had not only saved his career, but he had saved her pension and the future of their comrades. Jake's first act as chief was to walk into Station 9, now swarming with reporters. He gathered his old crew. They were shocked, but their faces showed respect. He looked at them, not as their chief, but as their comrade. "The old ways end now," he announced. "My first order is an immediate freeze on all pension fund transactions and a full, transparent audit to be conducted by state officials. We are getting your money back. And my second order, we will implement the Armstrong Protocol, mandatory rotation of all financial oversight, with public disclosure of all high-value contracts. No more hiding behind titles." He retained Marty as his captain and promoted her to be his chief of staff, making her the co-architect of the new, transparent system. The department, once paralyzed by fear and loyalty to Vance, found a renewed sense of purpose under its new, unlikely leader. Chief Vance's trial revealed the depth of his decades-long theft, resulting in a severe federal prison sentence. His legacy was permanently redefined as a master manipulator who betrayed the very men he claimed to protect. Jake Armstrong, however, stabilized the pension fund, recovering nearly 85% of the stolen assets. He didn't just fix the budget, he fixed the culture. His story became an emblem of courage over seniority. He often told recruits, "Integrity is not inherited, it is earned with every file you open and every difficult question you ask." Jake's improbable rise proved that when the system is too comfortable with corruption, sometimes the only person who can truly fix it is the one who has nothing to lose, the rookie with a clean conscience and a sharp eye for the truth.